Did you know that in the very first American election back in 1788, only about 6% of the population was eligible to vote? That's right. Just a tiny fraction of people had a say in choosing their leaders. Crazy, right? Today, we're diving into the wild evolution of American elections. From those early days of restricted voting rights to the high-tech systems we see now, the journey has been nothing short of fascinating. So let's unpack how elections have transformed over the centuries and why it matters today. Let's rewind to the 18th century. Elections were pretty exclusive back then. Voting was mainly reserved for wealthy, white landowners. Imagine that. Many people, including women, African Americans, and even some poor white men, were completely shut out of the process. This meant that the voices of the majority of the population weren't even heard. And it didn't stop there. The integrity of the voting process was also a huge challenge. Back in the day, ballots were often public, leading to intimidation and coercion. Voter fraud was a constant worry, with people questioning whether their votes were genuinely counted. It was a messy time for democracy, with a lot of room for improvement. Fast forward to the 19th century and things started to change a bit. The introduction of the secret ballot, also known as the Australian ballot, was a game changer. This allowed people to vote privately, reducing the chance of intimidation and fraud. Then came the 15th Amendment in 1870, which aimed to eliminate racial voting restrictions. It was a step forward, but the fight for voting rights was far from over. Women, in particular, pushed hard for their right to vote, leading to the 19th Amendment in 1920, which finally granted them that right. As we moved into the 20th century, technology began to play a significant role. The introduction of voting machines in the 1930s made the process more efficient, and by the time we hit the late 20th century, electronic voting systems were on the rise. Each of these milestones reflects our ever-evolving understanding of democracy and the need for accessibility in the voting process. Now, let's highlight a pivotal moment in our electoral history, the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This landmark legislation aimed to eliminate barriers that had long disenfranchised African American voters, particularly in the South. The act was a response to the civil rights movement, where activists bravely fought for equal voting rights. The dramatic events of Bloody Sunday in Selma, Alabama, when peaceful marchers were brutally attacked, captured national attention and underscored the urgency of the situation. This moment not only shifted perspectives on democracy, but also rallied support for the passage of the Voting Rights Act, which significantly expanded voting access. It was a huge leap forward in the fight for equality. So, what have we learned about the evolution of American elections? From limited access in the 18th century to the more inclusive processes we see today, it's clear that every step has shaped our modern democracy. Understanding this history reinforces the importance of protecting voting rights for everyone, ensuring that every voice is heard. Now that you know the crazy evolution of American elections, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the changes we've seen over the years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos on related topics. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Catch you in the next one.